What was it like being in the room, like pitching Workaholics to the president of Comedy Central? How old are you guys at this point?
25, 24, something like that.
That's what was so
25?
crazy. Is
3 years older than me.
Yeah, he's ancient. So
Going from like
How old
one
are
to
you
be
right
going
now?
from like one to be on the
50.
comedy page
Oh,
of
are you really?
YouTube.
Yeah.
Fine wine.
You're not getting
you.
on the comedy
Good for you.
page. Like then your DVD gets found by somebody at Comedy Central. Then the next thing you know, you guys are going in to pitch Workaholics to the top dog.
That's what was wild is I think like we didn't realize like we were in the eye of the storm. So we're just going to these things just kind of like, you know, blind, just going for it. Like,
yeah, we didn't realize what a big deal it was about to be.
Yeah.
I remember one of the Comedy Central execs right before the show came out was like, your life is about to change. And I'm like, shut up. Nuh-uh. And then the next day I walk into Starbucks and no one noticed me.
Walking into Starbucks, seeing anybody
Yeah, it's just making eye contact with everyone.
What
Be
name
like,
can I put on the cup?
And it's Adam
I think you
from
know.
Workaholics. Yeah.
I'm sure you're aware.
No, seriously, I need to know your name for the cup.
Yeah.
Are we really going
Come
to play
on.
this game?
No, it was.
I put the star in Starbucks.
It actually kind of took off pretty quickly, and it was. Remember Bonnaroo that first year? It was like we hadn't left LA because people in LA play it pretty cool, you know, because you see celebrities all the time.
Right.
But then we went to Bonnaroo that year, and it was like just fucking chaos, dude.
Yeah.
They like made us get security. They're like, you guys should have security. This is like dangerous for you to just be out and about. But we're like, we love it.
Right.
Everyone grab a chunk. Take this part. Someone grab this part.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
It was awesome.
That made everyone. Adam kept saying, "Grab this part."
this
People
part.
were like, "Oh, we're good.
We're good.
Okay." That dispersed the crowd. Oh yeah, there's Bonnaroo. Whoever's doing the
Yeah, you're doing a great job
Yeah,
out there.
jeez. We
Look
need
at
somebody
you.
like that on our
Sherm Dog's
podcast.
on
This
top
is
of it.
important.
Yeah, Sherm is absolutely whipping it up right now. Now, are you guys performing the Wizards at Bonnaroo in this? Or you guys are just like, hey,
We're doing different
y'all seen
sketches
Workaholics?
and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not
live
sure if the
sketches from before the day. Like we had like sketches that we were doing live that we just like dusted off and like updated a little bit.
How many?
We'll still do that.
How
Yeah,
many
like
CDs
20-year-old
or
sketches.
DVDs? How many
let's go
CDs or
reach the
DVDs
bag
did you guys
for that
send to Comedy Central before you're like, oh, Workaholics is the one?
No, I mean I don't even remember the DVD. I thought they emailed us through YouTube, and we didn't even know because we were so bad at like promoting ourselves.
We've always been really bad at promotion.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
got very lucky.
we're
in
artists,
that way.
you know. It's not
Yeah.
about the promotion,
Mhm.
Absolutely.
you know.
As we forget the name of our podcast, that's
Yeah.
a good
Right.
tell.
But we-
It's
This
all
is
about the
important.
artistic
We
drive.
did sketches live and like on YouTube for 7 years before Workaholics got picked up.
No. Is that right?
I mean,
we were putting we were
God, why did we give up, dude?
You know?
That's like depressing.
That is crazy.
yeah.
It was wild, but
you gotta
held
grind.
That's what my
that's
dad
what we
and
did on
uncles kept
weekends.
saying.
Like
Yeah.
we weren't really going out. Like we held each other accountable. We like would tape index cards to the wall, like with sketch ideas, and it was like a whole ladder system.
Yeah, but you make it sound like we're fucking nerds, dude. We're cool, man. I mean,
Yeah.
we were going out too.
We also like drawing pictures of naked chicks on those cards.
yeah, I mean, yeah, we were clubbing too.
No,
we were at Barney's
honestly-
Beanery before it was like a spot.
Yeah,
okay?
before it was cool to go to
Yeah.
Barney's Beanery. Yeah, Durs was like the only person that we knew because he's a few years older. So he was he would charge things to a credit card.
Mm-hmm.
So we were so poor, but he was
Very
poor,
that
but
off.
then would just charge it to the game, which is
Yeah.
a
I
thing
did
that
keep
you
saying-
say.
I kept saying it. I
he
was
would
like,
say that a lot.
Dude,
He's
just
like,
charge it to
you
the
got to
game."
charge it to the game.
Yeah.
Because one day we're going to make money and then I'll just pay this off. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do that though. And now I look back and I'm like, I should have done that,
No
dude.
doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I should have done that.
Had no clue.
So that's a piece of advice for any, kids that are looking to get in. Just charge it to the game.
Run it
dude.
up.
Yeah.
And then you can like
Someday you're gonna-
transfer it to a new credit card and get a new APR.
transfer it to another game.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
That's
the
just
game.
good advice.
That is
Yeah.
his game.
Mhm.
That's great,
Yeah.
Carthon. That's 10x.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
exactly what that
That's
is.
we're
That's how you
10Xing.
stay
So
behind
Durs
the
was
deck.
like big bro to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was the
always-
man. He had the credit card.
Well,
Yeah.
he'd be like, yo, me and my boys are going to, he'd said things like, me and my boys. I'm like, that's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool,
we're like,
dude.
charge it
Fuck.
to the
Yeah,
game.
cool, boys.
Yeah,
Dang.
oh, dang, that is cool. Blake's over here drawing on note cards. I gotta get out of the house, man. Gotta get out of the house. And he'd be like,
Guys, it's a ladder system. You don't understand. We have to do a bang bus too. I'm running out of towels.
Yeah, and he would invite us to like a nightclub. I remember we went to some nightclub, and you were like, dress nice. So it was our shitty version of dressing nice. So it just looked like we were going to church. Just like khakis with like woven belts and like tucked in.
Mm-hmm. You look like a Best Buy helper.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm
it
Geek
was-
Squad.
It was tough. It was
And then was so disappointed. I'm like, drinks are $13.
Charge it to the game.
Charge it to the
Charge it to
game,
the
dude.
What's money?
That's nothing, dude.
You know what I mean?
$13
Yeah.
at that point in time.
Come on.
That is wild. At any point in those 7 years, if it was really 7 years, which I know is up for debate, did any of your like parents or loved ones or friends that were outside the bubble be like, "Hey, we should really talk about what your actual future goals are"?
Yeah.
I mean, I was with my wife at that point, who's like smart and like had a career and was like, "What are we doing?" Because I was doing this stuff, and then during the day, I was like a PA on different TV shows, and I'm like fetching sandwiches for people, and she's like, "Is this the dream? Is this what we're doing?"
Right now?
And I was like, "Just stick around. Trust me. Someday I will pay off your grad school loans." But yeah, it was a little bit of like because LA is just not like, it's an industry town. You know what I mean? And like you could do a bunch of stuff there, but what she was doing, LA wasn't the best. And I was like, please just. And then I think maybe even just less than a year later is when Workaholics got picked up.
Mm-hmm.
God, that had to be such a hell of a feeling. Except for walking into that Starbucks the next day.
Yeah.
And realizing
I mean, like,
no one really.
huh?
But at
Like,
Bonnaroo,
your life is gonna
was the security
change.
worth it? Like, were they like, "Hey, it was really going to be like that"?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. I didn't really have any people. I feel like my family, my parents definitely were like, "You're going to make it." They're
shit.
just wildly so supportive, like
Grassroots
weirdly,
Nebraska parents.
weirdly supportive. But my uncles were like, "No shit. You got a show?
You're a loser.
Bullshit."
The least funniest nephew.
Honestly, no, literally, that was the thing in my family. It's like,
Say a joke
you're
to
the
me
least
now.
funniest out of all of us. And I'm like, well, then why didn't you get a TV show?
Boom. Got
You
him.
dumb fuck.
Yeah. Where are you now?
Just going too busy going to Husker games every weekend, man.
Yeah.
Too focused on the volleyball games.
Yeah.
In
Yep.
the off season.
And
You gotta
my
believe
parents
that
had
guy.
a really low bar. They were happy I was just delivering pizzas. So
Yeah.
yeah,
They're stoked on it.
Yeah, they were like, no, okay,
Oh,
cool.
wow. We didn't see this for you.
love pizza.
This is great.
Yeah.
So when you first signed, was it just one season of Workaholics, or how quickly did it get picked up? Like in that first season that you guys are going to do another one?
Yeah. I think we got picked up to write the second season before the first season aired because they were so stoked.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that was
Yes.
like a huge
Yeah.
sign of
But also,
confidence.
like at this time, they used to do like pilots. They would do one episode, like any network or channel, whatever, would do a bunch of pilots, like one episode of a show. Let's say they did 10, and then they'd watch them and pick the 5 that they're going to pick up for a season.
Mm-hmm.
We shot. They gave us $50,000 to shoot like our own video, and we were like, let's make a whole pilot. So we did that, and then they just picked us up for 10 episodes right away, which was like,
So they basically give you
Sick.
the $50,000. You guys figure out what to do with it.
yes,
You put it together. You showed them. They're like, all right, we're going to get 10
Yeah.
more of these.
Yeah.
And then they gave us 10 apps,
Yeah.
which was crazy because at that time I was doing, I was still doing stand up all the time in the clubs. And my stand up friends were like, they truly didn't believe me that I had a show on Comedy Central because
Right.
because it took like a year and a half for the show to
Yes.
actually come out.
Yes,
Just-
they wanted to drop our show with new South Parks.
Yeah, that's
Right.
right.
To get eyeballs.
and they were doing Broadway with Book of Mormon.
Phenomenal
Yeah.
Broadway show.
Yeah. And so like they were like, wait for South Park to come back. And yeah, while we were waiting, we started writing season 2. Yeah.
Yeah, and it definitely sucked because I didn't know that they have the pilot presentation online. That's sick.
Yeah.
Shout out, sure.
That's probably illegal.
Yeah, for sure.
Isaac.
Yeah, Isaac, quit puking on your bed. We look over. Isaac's just puking down himself.
Yeah. Yeah, that was weird. I was watching
Isaac
that. I'm
catches
like, where's
strays from the minute he
Brendan
walked in.
Soho? Huh?
What'd you say?
I said Isaac's been catching strays. Since the
Yeah.
day he walked in.
Yeah.
That's his
Sorry,
life.
Isaac.
Like,
That's
It's
his.
all good, Isaac. I mean, I respect the boot and rally.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. That's big boy football.
If you call that rallying, I don't know, man.
I just assumed his hair is always like that.
Bro. Sad. I feel sad now.
And so Workaholics went 7 seasons. Like, how did the writing process go for you guys? And I know it's such like a kind of a gay question, but also it is kind of interesting to hear like how you guys work through each series. Who wrote the most? How did you find these things that essentially turned into
Blake
a
had him on the index cards. He's
Like,
like,
yeah.
I'm telling you, this ladder shit works.
Yeah, he was like
Jeff
Gambit
and
with those
Garrett
cards.
were massive fans. Like they are like Workaholics is like their show. They're number one. So to be able to accumulate that kind of cult following, like what was the work like between seasons and all the writing and stuff like that?
Well, we had a writing staff that we worked with that Comedy Central didn't trust us to run the show immediately. We were just so young and inexperienced that we hired a bunch of really smart people, and then we were the bosses of them, which was really weird.
Yeah,
like,
that was a trip.
like community college dropouts for Blake and myself were like the bosses of all these Harvard educated writers. We're like, no, I don't think you should do it that way.
Right.
Are you supposed to do it that way?
Yeah.
But Durs he was our writer. He's the one that kind of taught us everything along the way. We hadn't written anything besides sketches.
Right.
And then he's kind of showed us the ropes when it came to sitcom writing.
Yeah.
Elevated in this pod.
Yeah, just like a format to be like, hey, if you think about an episode this way, you like come up with your own ideas, and then you can kind of, this will take you to the next step, and that'll take you to the next step, and like that way, it's not like we all have to sit down together to like figure it out. It's like if you have an idea and you're on your own, just plug it into here, and it'll step you through.
You get a little template.
Yeah, exactly.
Little template set up.
Yeah, the sort of math of it, because you can have a really cool, funny, creative idea, but then if you don't know like the math of the X's and O's of figuring out exactly how to
like story
lay it out,
Yeah.
then it's just a funny idea.
And it was kind of just like this. I mean, this kind of reminds me of our writer's room.
Yeah.
I think we had a Twisted Tea thing up, didn't we?
It was sponsored by Dove Men.
Yeah. We were always so soft.
Yes.
No, but we would just sit around and bullshit and be like, all right, so like the dudes go to a water park. What could happen?
And then step it out as far as you can. And
Our writer's room was hilarious, though. It was in Panorama City, which if you don't know where that is, you're lucky. If you don't know where that is, you've never tried to buy heroin.
Good note for all the kids out there. They're going to put on game.
Yeah, for real. Because it was like where our office was the back corner of this building, and you couldn't see in, but we could see out. And you would just see people on their like lunch breaks, just like a guy in a shirt and tie just come and just smoke crack just alone in his car. And you're like, oh my God, that guy's smoking crack. Or like
a lot of fucking.
Lot of fucking just prostitute. It was a wild scene back there.
Yeah.
I've got an idea for an episode. So these guys are fucking in a car. That's all I got.
step that one out.
It was a motivator.
Template.
As it was exploding, was there ever like, did you ever start to feel like a weight of any pressure to continue to exceed expectations or try and exceed expectations? Like, because you guys obviously did 7 seasons. Like, was there any middle point there to where one season was harder than the other? Or maybe one of the 3, you guys are straying. Maybe you loved what the game did for you more than you were loving the game, and then you got to reel them in. Like pulling some accountability to him. Let's bring our boy Durs. I don't know who.
Yeah. They had to always put the leash on me.
Mhm.
You know.
Blake went down a real road of just wanting every episode to have like real, like a lot of boogers and shit.
Yeah.
It was like,
I think
season 5, Blake was like, yeah, what if there's more boogers in this one? I don't know, man.
I think what you're trying to say is that I wanted to push the envelope with our comedy.
Of
So like
boogers,
there were set pieces that had boogers in them.
Sure.
But yeah, no, you want to like keep one-upping yourself and like just pushing it. But
yeah, I guess a lot of it was mostly like visually we wanted to do cool shit. Like if we were gonna do a drug trip, we wanted it to seem different than the other drug trips that we've been on.
And we also always had like pretty big like set piece minds, like with stunts and stuff. So that's kind of like where we were starting to evolve to like, hey, what we want to do after Workaholics is make like movies together and all that, and have like a bigger budget for stuff like that. And that's when we did Game Over Man for Netflix, and we got to pull off like big major stunts and all that stuff.